So in this pack there's a Ravnica the Unseen, so that's good. That works quite well with what we're trying to do, which is to make a profit, to win. It's worth tickets, it does everything we want, it kills things, so I'll happily take that. We're passing a Grizzly Salvage, which could table, and then nothing else that we want to play, so hopefully the salvage tables. There's an outside chance that we could play the card, but I don't want to plan on playing that card. So here I think the pick is between the X-Pain stack. So here I think the pick is between Salvage and Vine. I like Salvage better. However, we do have that launch party. We might have a shot at a second one. We can get our guild gate with it. So I think that the Vine is fine. There's also a Shuer Shambler. And goodness gracious, there are a lot of cards that the good cards here we can't play. So there's a Teleportal and a Bluster Squall, both which are game winners. There's a Tristani's Judgment. There's no cards and no black or green cards that we're going to play. So the question is, are we going to try to pick something to try to splash it? Judgment does line up with the Sanctuary. Bluster Squall is potentially splashable as well. Teleportal isn't going to do it. Bluster Squall, not really good. Like, do we have a way to make tokens? No, I passed on that. I passed on the Centaur lady. So here I think I'm going to take the Judgment. I don't really know. Like, I feel like the Bluster Skull is the better card, but it just doesn't seem like as good a fit for this deck, and that's just purely instinct at this point. So here in this pack, more of cards. It seems like there are other people in Golgari. It's looking like that because we haven't seen any good Golgari cards, and usually when I'm in Golgari, I see some good late uncommons and commons. I haven't seen really anything. Like, Slitherhead is marginal in this deck, so I think here Perilous Shadow. I just don't like Perilous Shadow in this deck. So I could take the Slitherhead and just have a chump blocker that I can ditch to Troll, scavenge onto. I could try to splash the Accord. I wish I could play Palisade Giant. So I just took that gentleman, the Slitherhead, the skull with plant legs. Pretty normal. This pack, there's another Monitor, there's a Decoy, there's Giant Growth, there's a Voltaic Rig. We have a couple of Regenerators, so Rig isn't terrible. It's kind of like a very iffy Earthquake, or a Slice and Dice, Wildfire, Breath of Daragaz sort of effect. I think the Decoy is the pick here. Man, yeah, see, more good cards, but not in our colors. I'm going to take the Predation sideboard card. Here I have the option of a second Predation for the sideboard or a Gobbling Ooze for the main deck. Not really doing much with Gobbling Ooze here. Not really much at all. Do I have enough creatures? I have 16. Am I playing them all? Probably. No, not that one. Probably not Sanctuary. This seems pretty rough, actually. Predation. That works with the Grave Betrayal plan better. So here, Savage Surge, which we could play. Terrace Worm, which we could play. Yeah, I'll take the Terrace Worm. And the Grizzly Salvage did not table. So yeah, there's at least one person. I'm guessing there are two people playing Golgari or some combination of green, black, and other junk. Because I would expect. I think that there was a salvage in that pack and this pack, so I'll happily take this one. Late Tower Drake again. Do I not want to see Tower Drake? Yeah, who cares? Who knows? So we didn't really get the we didn't get the deck we were looking for. We didn't get the removal that we were looking for. Not playing Mind Rot. Not playing Drainpipe. Vermin. Not playing Tower Drake, probably. Not playing Destroy the Evidence. If I'm not playing white cards, which don't seem quite that good. So I have 25. I have enough playables. It just is somewhat underwhelming. I mean, I do have this Vraska card, which will win me games. And Underworld Connections. Ooh, Perilous Shadow. Yes. Grave Betrayal, yes. Oh, that I think that also included Terrace Worm and Axebane Stag, which is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting creatures to count in my 16 or whatever it was, 15. Militant is making the cut. Augur Spree is making the cut. Keyrune's making the cut. That's 24. That is 24, so we get to cut a card. It could be Grave Betrayal. No, but it won't. We're not going to cut that. Come on. Who do you think we are? So our removal... We have basically 4 removal spells. That does make the Grave Betrayal somewhat underwhelming. I have to be honest about that. I have 1 Scorpion, which sort of works on the Grave Betrayal plan. I have quite a few creatures considering, what is this, instant or sorcery card? Don't have many of those. I have 4. I have 4 instant or sorceries, and like 4 non-instant, non-creature, non-sorceries, and a bunch of creatures. Yeah, I don't love this deck. We do have a Rogue's Passage. Can sneak through a Long Legs, Monitor maybe, or a Worm. I do like the Worm over Stag since we have the Grizzly Salvage and possibly the Troll. So we have enough ways that we might really be scavenging. I think in a vacuum I like the Stag a little better in that it's pretty resilient when compared to the Worm. I mean, they're both large, but 6/7 just, it's very hard for your opponents to effectively trade with that to block or attack well with this elk on the board. And if you have combat tricks or instant speed removal, it makes it that much better. So Terrace Worm just doesn't do that quite as well, but the Scavenge I think tips it in this deck. Rogue's Passage. So we have to cut a card. But I love them all. That's the problem. Slitherhead seems pretty weak. One reason to play it is we have a lot of the Troll, so it's a great combo with the Troll. It's definitely the #1 card to discard out of all of these with the Troll. And also blocks early, but I don't even have much to scavenge it onto. Like, I have no flyers. So I'm going to have a hard time winning. It's the problem. And it doesn't do much else. Like, it doesn't work with Shaman well, because Shaman wants to be exiling the creatures by itself. So that might just be the cut. I could also cut Grave Betrayal, but man, look at it. It's a dragon skeleton? Like, I can't... And there are ghouls with, like, pink flame tongues in the foreground. That's the first time I've noticed that. So, I don't know who's betraying... I guess the dragon must be betraying its guild. And I don't know whose side those ghouls are on, but... they're probably... I guess this is an Orzhov card, and those look like probably Orzhov creatures, so the dragon's joining them. That's my assessment. Still have to cut a card. So Perilous Shadow is like really underwhelming. It's terrible with Rogue's Passage, and I guess the point, like with the Shadow, you just want to get to the point where you can just power that through, and make it difficult for them to attack by leaving 2 or 4 mana open, which is not terribly exciting. But I think I'm going to cut this Leatherhead and see how that works out for me. So I do have Guildgate and a Promenade. And a Gatekeeper Vine for the Augur Spree, so I think 1 mountain should do the trick. Fortunately, I have the Rogue's Passage, which hurts my mana plan. I'm not going to be... What's this? The Militant. They haven't quite figured out yet that hybrid, an on-color, half on-color hybrid does not imply that you should be playing that color. That Magic Online land suggester. So I think 1 mountain is good. That gives us basically 4 ways to draw to Augur Spree. I don't think that's too greedy. That is a lot of black, though. I guess just looking at the connection to this, the shadow. Yeah, that's too much black. So if we're to remove a black, this is 12 and 3. That's an odd amount of mana to have. I might have done something there against my better judgment. So that's 15. That's 1 too many. So 716 gives us 8 sources of green, 9 sources of black, 4 sources of red. Still seems like a lot of black. I do need double black for connections, but I don't need it that early. I could go down to 5 swamps, which turns out to be like 8, 9. It's 9? Am I doing this math right? Yeah, that's 9 if we count the Gatekeeper Vine. That seems right. That does seem right. So this is 9 sources of green. Can't count the vine as a green source. 9 green, 8 black, 4 red. That seems good. Okay, we have a deck. We have a Vraska. We have a Grave Betrayal. So let's do this.